And I ain't hit no drop in a minute. No, I'm about my business.
Rappers Got Podcast, episode 29. This is your host, Diggy
Bailz Pagliacci.
And we wanted to start off this episode a little bit different. Recently, we got put onto a list of the top 55 music business podcasts out there, and we were ranked at number 44.
Yes, sir.
We wanted to give a big shout out to FeedSpot. They put together the most comprehensive list out of the whole internet, and they found all the best music business blogs. Podcasts and different shows, and they kind of compiled them into a list, and we were ranked at number 44. We're not saying this to congratulate ourselves. We're actually saying this because we're only 29 episodes in, and we want people out there to know that like anything that you try to do is more than possible. Like we didn't ever do the podcast thinking like, oh, we're gonna be fucking number 44 out of the top 55 within the first year of our podcast.
Had no fucking clue. Just woke up one day and boom, we was on the fucking list.
And that wasn't even really the intention. Like
never.
How we look at it is if you are doing good in this world, if you're trying your hardest to like make good things happen, then you reap the benefits of that. And I think that that's really why we got put on that list, is because we're constantly trying to give good energy and keep people informed.
Dropping gems.
And I think when you do that, you get fed from it. You know what I mean? So shout out to FeedSpot. Thank you for putting us on there. Yeah.
Shout out to all the supporters on TikTok as well. We love y'all. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Shout out to the supporters everywhere, because we do have supporters across
YouTube too,
across the board. So
love y'all.
Shout out to you guys. Even if you disagree with some of the stuff we say, like that's normal.
It's cool.
It's discourse, you know. But the fact that you're watching us and you are like chiming in, like we really appreciate that shit. And let's get to the show.
Yes, sir.
All right, so today we wanted to talk about the landscape of music and how these changes affect you as an artist, the things that you're trying to do as far as like marketing yourself. What are you marketing yourself for, right? So artists are less visible nowadays. Like specific brands are less visible. People like music, they like a genre, and they kind of like everyone that falls under the umbrella. Diehard fans, those like core audience fans, I feel like aren't as prevalent as they used to be. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that music is just consumed completely different now.
Yeah. It's no longer having one CD of your favorite artists every year or every 6 months, however they were doing it. It's no longer, people just saying, I'm sticking to this one person as an artist and fuck the other guy. At this point, it's like anybody could get it. And as far as anybody can get it, anybody can get listened to.
You know why a CD is so important? Like you bringing up that example is because I don't know how you purchase stuff, but like if I purchase a pair of sneakers, I feel like I have to wear those sneakers.
Oh, yeah,
now.
Of course.
Like I don't care, especially if they're expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to figure out outfits that go with these sneakers now because I'm going to wear them a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you purchase an album, like a physical copy of something, and you have this CD now, you're going to get enough plays to where you feel like you earned your value from it. You know what I mean? And like that changed completely. We're paying $7.99. Back in the day, it was what? $15, $20 sometimes, $9.99 standard for a CD. And you played that CD nonstop, especially when you first bought it. But like even beyond there, you played it nonstop. You might get a new CD and then like every once in a while pop that one out and pop in the old one.
Yep.
And because you were forced to, or not even forced, but because you were playing the same album over and over, you became a bigger fan. There was a bigger appreciation for the artist that you were purchasing. And that doesn't exist right now. Now it's $7.99. You get access to all these different albums, all different types of music, and you could kind of change your mood every single day or change your vibe every single day and listen to whatever you like.
Anybody that's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, all over the place. Number one, there's so many places that people can consume their music. On top of that, there's so many artists, there's so many genres, there's so many playlists. And even on top of that, looking past the music, there's even podcasts on these platforms as well. So it's just like music has become just so immersive for the listener where you don't have to feel like you have to be stuck repeating this one album over and over and over. Now you just got a bunch of these playlists that are compiled with, like you said, that's going to set the mood for you. That's going to, get you through your day to day. Even Spotify, they have like probably 6 or 7 daily mixes for the music that I listen to just for me. And they know what I want to listen to when I may want to drive. I'm not listening to one specific artist. Yes, I still love Cole, but there's a lot of people that just falls under that umbrella with Cole just because I want to listen to everybody.
Because you don't have to purchase a physical copy anymore, you can afford to listen to every album. Back in the day,
oh shit!
if somebody had a CD that you didn't have, you would ask to borrow it because that was the only way for you to actually hear the project. Like now, imagine this. Imagine you had to pay for every song on Spotify that you listen to.
I wouldn't even
You wouldn't be
fucking
able to
have
afford
Spotify.
it. You just wouldn't be able to afford it. Like, we only listen to the albums that we bought because that's what we could afford. Now, $7.99, which everyone could pretty much afford. I mean, you could walk around and pick up change off the ground and get that per month. You can listen to every single album. There's no extra cost. There's no added cost to it. So it's like now that you can afford to listen to everything, and with YouTube, like you could afford to watch every movie because there's free movies with ads. Like we no longer have such a knack for being a fan. You know what I mean? Like you're not really a fan anymore. Although fans do exist, you can still build a fan base, but they're not as loyal.
Yep.
I think that's the big difference that I'm trying to get to. Like, they're not as loyal. Like, loyal fans were people who they bought every one of your albums. They had a collection of your albums, and they bought your merchandise, and they bought this and that. Like, you might have a fan right now who likes your music, but they also like 10 other artists, and they support them just as much, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's because they have access to all those other 10 artists.
And like you said, like it's definitely beneficial for us as an artist. And yes, we all wanted to have like those diehard fans that just want to throw themselves on stage, for us, to want to just come meet us, say hello to us. Like you said before, there's definitely those fans that are still out there. But for the most part, it just, when you look at it from that perspective, that everybody basically getting a chance to get listened to, like we always talk about, there's enough money, there's enough listeners, there's enough fans out there that's going to be able to support all of us. And it's like, honestly, it doesn't really have to be a competition at all. It doesn't have to be, I got to be better than this next guy. It's perfectly fine if a fan enjoys your music and also enjoys somebody else's music. I see no problem with it. I think it's honestly the best thing in the world. And honestly, that's how I've been able to find other independent artists out there. Because I share like a Spotify radio with a lot of other independent artists who kind of have the same fans as me, and I was able to discover new artists and being able to listen to them, and then that opens networking, collaborations, all the things under the umbrella. You
know what I just realized? Back in the day, you would buy a ticket to go to a show, right? And that show was typically your favorite artist, right? What's the biggest like ticket seller now as far as music goes?
Having a bunch of fucking artists all under one bill.
Festivals.
Literally just putting every fucking body all under one fucking thing.
In streaming terms, what is a festival?
Putting everybody all under one fucking umbrella.
It's Spotify.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the time you go to these festivals and it's not even just one genre. Like, there are those that just have straight hip hop, but a lot of these Bonnaroos and these different festivals, they have country singers and they have rappers and they have this and they have a bunch of people and they have all these different stages. But realistically, that's just like a physical form of streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these options. You could do whatever you want. And that's the thing. Like, with options comes less fans.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, fans aren't such a big thing anymore because they have so many fucking options that they don't need to just support one person.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't just afford that one album every 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people, that was probably in their budget. Like, I get paid and then I go and I pick up a new album.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's like every day you could listen to a new album. You could listen to 10 albums on a Friday.
You could really run through a lot of shit.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you might listen to the new Nas album that drops. And then this person drops a new album. You go and you listen to that. And you're not really gonna, I feel like it's not frequent that people go back to the album and give it a whole run
to digest
again.
it. They're just looking for the tracks that, I'm going to put this in a playlist.
Right.
That's exactly what happens.
Exactly. So
I'm going to put this in a playlist.
They put everything in a playlist. So like, you might find 2 or 3 tracks off every album that you put in a playlist. And now it's just all compiled. And it's literally a festival within your phone. You know what I mean? Like, there's no more, I strictly listen to the Nas album every day because I fuck with Nas.
And I can't listen to no Jay-Z shit.
Right.
Because back in those days, that's how it really
That was
was.
a
Like
thing.
niggas ready to
Yeah,
fight.
no, it was a thing. Like, I didn't like Nas my whole childhood because of that.
Yeah, I didn't like Jay-Z.
I could not mess with Nas just because like I was a Jay-Z stan and I'm like, fuck Nas at that point. It took me a long time to like get older and be like, why am I like,
Exactly.
why do I care?
Exactly.
Like I didn't have beef with Nas. Like I didn't fucking fight him. You know what I mean? Like
It's less of that because even now, you know, even with the music, like there'll be a certain rap group or a rapper that's beefing with another rapper, and to listen to both of them, enjoying both sides of the fucking table. Like they don't even care at this point. It's like, yo, I'm gonna be listening to your ops, and even if you are the op, I'm gonna listen to you too.
right. Just look at like as far as support goes, look at cancellation culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could be supporting someone heavily, listen to all their new shit, and then they get canceled, and you go, all right, fuck that dude.
Yep.
Like, there's no real supporters like there were. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still supporters, but they're not like they were.
And that's when it comes to the point of, you know, as an artist that's watching it, like, what does that put me? You got to be consistent out here. You got to make sure that you out here releasing the music. You got to make sure that you are staying relevant because once again, fans are fickle nowadays. Supporters are fickle nowadays. They'll be there for you 1 minute, then the next minute they're gone. Even the bigger name artists deal with the same thing. You'll see it so many times on their social media or, you know, on their Twitter. Yo, I just dropped the album. Like we were just talking about this off camera. Like if Isaiah Rashad dropped the album, there's gonna be people, when you drop in the next one, without even really digesting the full album within itself and just already want something new. And it's just like if you're not providing with them what they need, they're just gonna move on. And it sounds a little disheartening, you know, when you think of it like that. But once again, not everybody's like that. But that's kind of majority of what's really going on out here.
Think about this. What do people recommend on like social media platforms that a new artist does? 3 to 5 posts a day. Like you have to constantly stay engaged. You have to follow people. You have to do this. You have to do that. And all they're really saying is you have to constantly put yourself in front of people.
Yes.
Like you have to be in constant structure of having your face, having your song, having this in front of someone because what they're really saying is the attention span's not there anymore.
Yep.
And these people will forget about you. So rather than just letting the people who like really fuck with the song just grab it and like it, they want you to force yourself onto it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, post 5 times a day. If you're posting 5 times a day, like you have a sickness.
That's too much.
In my head. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 to 5, you have a sickness in my head. That's too much. I can't even think of shit to post 3 to 5 times a day. And I think that the goal of that is to grow quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're always saying like to grow your followers fast. So I think they see it as like, if you do it for a year, then you don't have to do it anymore. And I get that, right? But like, who has time for that shit?
From a person that posts, you know, I post on my personal page, also post on the Rappers Guide podcast page. That even doing 2 of them is just like, it's too much. This is too much. But on the same token, it's just like, if I don't do it, I might just fucking end up being on the wayside.
Right, but why it's more simple for the Rappers Guide page is because we record 30-minute episodes. So
and we give
have,
valuable information.
And that's a weekly thing. So like now we have 30 minutes that we could potentially chop up. And when you're just an artist,
so much you could do for a 2-minute song.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, so they want you to do photo shoots and they want you to do this and that. But it's like, how much of that can you actually do before it's like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that entertaining. Like, when a rapper posts a photo and I see it on Instagram, I'm not like, oh, I fuck with this dude.
And even then, like, you know, Instagram at this point, they're kind of moving from photos anyways. Like, they just really focused on just having you post videos. They're trying to catch up with TikTok. And it's like, video, this. So then you got to come up with all these videos and, you know, you got to do a lot of different things.
And you have to try to be more entertaining than you probably are.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not an entertaining person. I'll tell you that straight up. Like,
I'm entertaining.
You might be. I'm not. See, the shit that you be posting, like the videos of you dancing and stuff like that, that'll never be me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just not my personality at all. Like, I would never do that. So, like, that's probably the stuff that they want you to do, right? That's probably the stuff that these social media gurus would tell you to do. But, like, it's just not me. You know? Like,
and that's perfectly fine.
And that's why, like, it's funny, like, when people have conversations, like on TikTok or in the comment section, like, well, if if you have such good advice, then why don't you do it? Because I don't fucking want to.
Yeah.
That's why my stock isn't in the I want to be a rapper game anymore. Now, if I received that advice at 18, completely different person.
Yeah,
you know what I
definitely,
mean?
yeah.
I would have definitely been with all the shits back then. But at this point in my life, I want to sip my coffee, be in a studio mixing records, and that's what I want to do. I want to drop rap songs every once in a while because I enjoy it.
Mhm.
But I'm not in that race anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm personally not in the race of trying to be a famous rapper.
And that's perfectly fine, because a lot of times, even like, posting numerous times, I also do see that there's people that don't post numerous times and they end up usually having the most followers. So like it's always just so confusing. It always works.
I also think people post and delete a lot.
Oh yeah.
I think
Or,
that people post
archive.
stuff and then delete it because they want it to look like they never post, but like they definitely post.
Oh yeah. That's also true. That does happen.
But the reason why we're having this conversation is pretty much to say, like, you have to constantly be in people's fucking view. And with that comes a lot of work, and you have to put in a lot of time, and it's annoying work, and a lot of artists are introverts, so we don't want to do that shit. Like, we want to just be by ourselves, and we want to just fucking let the fans come to us, but they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the reality of the matter is they're never going to come to you. Like, they're never going to find you. If someone gave you that advice, like, yo, your music's good, don't worry, like, it'll happen one day. No, it won't.
It's way more shit you got to do behind the scenes.
Like, I'll tell you from my own personal experience that I was told that so many times coming up. Like, yo, the music's fucking great, man. Like, don't worry, they're gonna come. They're gonna come. They will not come. Like, let me be as clear as possible. They will not come. Like, that is not something that actually exists. They don't come.
If you build it, they will come. Oh, was that from a movie or some shit?
Yeah. What did you say it was from the Bible last
I don't know
time? You were like, didn't Moses say this? I'm like, that's like Field of Dreams, bro.
But at the end of the day, they really do not come. You really got to be out there on the forefront. You got to really be out there putting the legwork in. You really got to be out there being social on social media. Like Dick said, it's kind of not what he's into, but that's kind of what I'm into. I'm an entertaining person. I like doing shit like that. So it's like when I have to do it, I will do it. But for the most part, it's like having to consistently do it. That's when it becomes like, this is kind of draining. I still want to be a regular person at the end of the day.
Yeah. I have a really good analogy. Okay, so you open up a deli in your backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your backyard is gated. There's a fence, right? One of those big, tall, white fences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no one can see in it, right? And you make great ass sandwiches, right? You make some good ass fucking sandwiches, like probably good enough to like get a nice customer base,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you don't tell anyone that you're back there.
And nobody can fucking see it.
And they can't see it, right? So how do you get people to eat your sandwiches? How do you get them to come purchase them, right? Like, you'd have to do advertisement. You'd have to either do word of mouth, you'd have to tell people, or you'd have to constantly be fucking advertising, right?
Yep.
And that's what you're doing as a rapper. Like, what you're doing is you're creating this music from your fucking bedroom most of the time, or like your basement or whatever, and no one knows about it. And then you expect like people to just land on it. Like, it would be the same as expecting people to walk in that backyard and be like, hey, do you make sandwiches?
Let me get a turkey and cheese with provolone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll never happen. So like, you have to constantly go out of your way to like show people, this is what I'm doing, this is why, and this is why you'll like it. A lot of you, I don't think about that. Why will they like it?
Mm-hmm.
What is it about your music that makes them like it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as just simple as, oh, it's good. Because good is subjective. Music's subjective. You know what I mean? Some people's favorite song, I think, is the worst song that ever happened. So it's like, what is it that makes your music special? What makes you stand out? And I think that we've come to a place or a time where a lot of people are just making this copy and paste music, and everyone kind of sounds similar. And although like a young person would fight that to the death and say like, nah, bro, like that's not true. Like, everyone's different and unique. Like, this is not like a debatable topic. Like, it's like, that's a thing. Like, there's copy and paste music. I'm an engineer. I deal with artists constantly. And a lot of them come through with the same sounding shit.
Control C, Control V, just in music form.
And you have to find a way as an artist to show people what you do differently. Like, what makes you stand out and what makes you special. And I think that when you find that and you know that answer, then it's a lot easier to go and sell yourself. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to go and advertise because you know what makes you special. Like Bailz started advertisement. When Bailz started advertising, I wouldn't even say that he really knew who he was.
Nope.
Like when he first started, I don't think that he knew what to do. Like not what to do with advertisement, what to do with himself.
Who to target to as the audience.
I think at one point he thought that, he was still in like the street rapper vibe. Then at another point he thought he was going to be like a hit maker club guy.
Yep.
And then it took a while before you started to realize like, oh, these melodic calm joints are the ones that work for me.
Yep. And there's just also within that, it's just like also knowing that I didn't have to fit the mold. Like my whole life has literally been never fit in the mold of what everybody expected, or and not saying I was purposely doing it, but it always felt weird. So within that, I had just posted this not too long ago on my Instagram. I had just randomly bought a wig and put like a little orange headband around it with like a dashiki, like looking like a hippie basically, for one of my songs, Resilient, right? And then I just posted it on Instagram. But at this point, within the marketing, it's like I know who my audience is. I know who I should be specifically targeting. And a lot of people probably look at it like, oh, look at this guy being goofy. Like I randomly went outside and seen a tree. I was like, you know what? I'm going to dance on that tree and just see what happens. Danced on the tree and actually marketed it in a certain way of knowing my audience. And now I literally got 200 follows from it. And it was just like, just knowing your target audience. And also like, I don't have to post a video now every day. I don't have to constantly do that. Now I could just advertise that one specific video.
You're also a Jersey City kid who doesn't have to act like a Jersey City kid.
Exactly. I don't have to be that person.
That's the thing. Like I think at first, when you first start, right? Like you might be from the hood, right? And if you put on a wig and you start dancing on a tree in the hood, people are going to check your manhood. They're going to check your fucking credibility in the streets. They're going to check all these different things that honestly in the fucking grown-up business world do not matter at all.
At all.
Right? Like no one, when you walk into an office building, no one checks your street cred. Like that doesn't give you anything. Your credit score doesn't go up from your street cred.
What business you claim?
You know what I'm saying? Imagine. But that doesn't happen in the real world. So like you have to take yourself out of that mindset. And I think a lot of artists find that really difficult. Like they constantly want to prove that they're like this street dude or prove that they're tough, even though on the inside they're this fucking weird, like spiritual fucking free spirit dude.
And be that fucking guy, because that's what's going to really fucking work.
And the problem with not being that guy is that you're never going to find your tribe. We all have a tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have a tribe, but like if you don't actually show who you are for real, then the tribe that you have around you is always going to be someone that shouldn't be around you. It's going to be whoever you're pretending to be. It's not going to be the person that you actually are. And we're all looking for the people that we actually are to listen to our music. So like finding your tribe is very fucking important in any business. Like it's super important to just find your tribe, find the people that think like you. And a lot of that comes from just being yourself. And everyone hears that be yourself shit and they think of it as like this cliche, corny fucking statement. Yo, I am myself. And it's like, bro, I've had conversations with artists where like they came in the first session and I completely misjudged who they were because the energy that they gave off when they're like closed off and like guarded was like tough guy energy. And then when you start speaking to them, you're like, this dude's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
like, this
exactly.
is a nice ass dude. He's not even like that. He's funny as shit. You know what I mean? But like that initial energy you give off and a lot of the music that you try to like make, it doesn't show who you really are.
Yep.
It shows like this tough guy persona that like, that's not you. You know what I mean? And the fucked up part is most people that like know you know that that's not you.
And bringing it back to like the whole landscape of things, right? When you look at it even from that point of just like being yourself and how sometimes fans, they're fickle. They're not really going to be there. They're going to listen to other artists within other genres. At the end of the day, you're going to have those people there that's going to support you for just being yourself. And it's less likely they're going to be fickle because at this point, it's like I'm connecting with this person more than the music level. I'm connecting with this person like, I don't want to say spiritual or something like that, but it's a different connection when it's not just about the music.
Because, if you're an artist and you're constantly marketing yourself and you show who you truly are and you're able to get people to break out of their own shell and show who they really are, they have a deep, deep appreciation
That's an impression
for you.
on you. Like, it's not just music. That's an impression on you.
Right. And the appreciation that they have for you because you were the person who showed them that it's all right to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like Bailz can never be like, yo, I'm not from the hood. He's from the hood. He's just not a hood dude. Like that's just not his personality. That's not who he is deep down. Like you can never take that out of someone based on their environment they grew up on or grew up in. But like, it doesn't mean that represents you at all points of your life. Like sometimes you grow up, sometimes you start reading books and you start finding out that you're a different fucking person than most of the people that you are around your whole life. And that's fine. And with the internet, the beauty is you could find all the people that are like you, where back in the day with no internet, you're just with the people you're with. And you guys might not get along at all. You might not have any similarities, or there might be no comparable traits. And like, for some reason, we feel like we have to be around these people because, like, that's just my crew. And it's like, not if your crew guns on you every day for the shit that you do.
You do, yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people that chill with people like, yo, I have a homie who he's super into like fucking Magic the Gathering and shit like that.
I
Right?
have no idea what the fuck that is.
Like, it's like a card game. It's like, imagine like Pokemon for adults.
Okay.
All right. He's super into this shit. And like, he gets gunned on all the time for this shit. And I've added in on the jokes, but I told him, I'm like, yo, the one thing, like, as fucking corny as I might feel it is, the one thing I appreciate about you is that, like, you're not scared to, like, be who you are.
If you like that shit, you like that shit.
Like, I don't need to like the shit that you like.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just to be friends, we don't have to like the same shit. But, like, I appreciate that you at least are, like, man enough to show that you like that stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will do that shit behind closed doors, be playing
like
Magic the Gathering, be like, they'll see you walk in and be like, oh, fucking tuck their cards. It's like, bro, like, just be you, you know?
And, I just thought about something within like the marketing shit on the marketing side, because we were talking about, how people kind of like make playlists. Even when you think, so like for the artists out there, right? If you're trying to figure out a way to market your music, we just kind of like put the nail in the head of the coffin, something like that. That's how. What the fuck is that shit? I don't know. Anyways,
you just combine two completely different sayings.
I think I really
hit
just
the nail
did.
on the head is one saying, and then put the nail in the coffin is another saying. But hit the nail on the head of the coffin is good.
Hey yo, but if you are listening to music out there, create your own goddamn playlist, right? Playlist of music that you like and you enjoy. And majority of the time, if you are an artist, that music that you tend to listen to, you may kind of replicate it in a sense in your music.
Or your music might just fit the vibe of it. Not necessarily replicate, because that is going to get pushed back because people are going to be like, I'm myself.
Also
all right,
true,
cool.
yeah.
But like, make a playlist of songs that you think fit the mold of your music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And add a couple of your songs into the playlist and just see how they play out. Like,
advertise that fucking playlist, because
Right.
you advertise that playlist, now people are listening to it, and if you want to put your song first, probably shouldn't, but put your song probably like fifth or sixth, and then now you got that shit in rotation. People are going to gravitate towards that playlist, and guess what? Your name starts popping up in that playlist. You're actually getting listens from that playlist. It's not like you're trying to dupe anybody, because this is music that you're listening to, which means that more than likely the person that's clicking on this playlist loves the type of vibe that the music is setting. And if your music fits that vibe, throw that shit in there.
People have been doing that from the beginning of time too. Like, we're acting like it's a new idea. It's not. People used to make mixtapes, and there would be fucking all these brand new hit records that are out, and then they would throw in a new artist from down the street.
Yep.
And people would have to play his song because it was part of the
whole thing.
mixtape. You know what I mean? So this is not a new idea. It's just modernized.
Yes.
And what I want people to do as an engineer, sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, when you're about to master a record or when you're mixing a record, you pick reference tracks and you listen to these reference tracks and you go, okay, like, what can I take from this record and kind of like emulate in this new song to make it sound similar, right? So while you're making this playlist and you're playing it through, you'll be able to reference one, if like the mix on your track is way worse than the other songs.
Yep.
You'll be able to reference if it really fits that vibe. Like, once you're playing through it and you hear your song come up, did it sound completely different than all the rest of the tracks? Like, did it sound off in that playlist? Because sometimes people think that they fit this grouping of people because that's who they like, but their music might not fit that grouping at all.
Opposite.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I would use those playlists as a tool as well to see like how far off you are from what you actually want to be. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to fit that grouping of people, like, what do they do in their music that's different from your music, and how can you add on to your own artistry to kind of like make it similar?
That's a fucking genius idea as well, because you really will sit there and say, okay, well, I can see where I can fit in here. And I was like, all right, I probably don't fit in here as well. But it's like, at the end of the day, you're giving yourself exposure. You're also giving people your personality by, having them gravitate towards your taste of music. And then on top of that, they may just want to listen to your music just because they trust your taste of music. Because some people will put you onto some fire-ass music, and you just like, you know what, this person can tell me anything, I'm going to just go listen to it. You're one of those people, especially that when you tell me to listen to some shit, I'm going to go listen to it.
Well, I listen to a lot of artists that I could hear from like my engineering ear that this music would resemble your music, or like it would fit the same vibe. So a lot of the time I'll be like, yo, go check this person out because I think you could gain from that. And for every person is different. You know what I mean? Like for every artist that I speak to, the person I'm recommending is not the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be
always varies.
It varies because I listen to the artist that I'm working with, and then I listen to a bunch of music and I go, oh, you know, this shit would mesh really well with this guy. You know, so I think that there's a way to listen to those songs and build your artistry. You might hear people doing like background vocals and you go, wow, that's incredible. And you listen to one of your choruses and you go, you know what that could really use?
Some fucking background.
Some background vocals.
Yep.
It would have filled it up so much better. Damn, like why didn't I do that? And then on your next record, you make it a point to do background vocals. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing wrong with taking pieces from the shit that you love and adding it to your
fusing it into
sound.
your shit.
As long as you're making it you. You know, like don't take, like I hate when I hear someone do an ad lib that's like clearly a bigger artist ad lib that they put on every single song and now you do it in the background of your shit. If an artist comes to the studio and they go, it's lit on the background in their song, I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that shit. That's not what I'm talking about. But find an ad lib that you could say that represents you and make that shit yours. Because Travis didn't do that by fucking listening to a bunch of rappers and fucking create that ad lib based on other people. He did it himself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That was his shit. And now everyone that wants to copy that shit should be starting their own. They should figure out their own ad lib. It could resemble it. It could have the same reverb on it and reverb throws and all this shit. But like, you want it to be yours. So again, man, just be yourself. Landscape of music is changing. Everything's different. There's still old ideas that are modernized that you could look back. You could look at mixtapes and be like, okay, this is fine for me to do this, right? But like, get up to date and figure out what you need to do to kind of complete your artistry and understand that like major point in this episode was that like fandom is not the same.
Yes.
There's not these diehards that there used to be. So you have to find out how to navigate the game with that and know that like someone might be a diehard fan of one of your songs, but it doesn't mean that they're a diehard fan of you. People might like Mr. Famous a lot. And they might love that record and play it every day before they go to sleep.
But they ain't playing all my other
and they
shit.
don't play the other shit.
Yep.
And that's fine.
That's
like,
definitely fine.
That's what today is. Today they become more of a fan of one record than they become of entire bodies of work. But that's why it's important to drop singles. That's why it's important not to focus all your time on dropping an album when they're going to listen to the album in
only
fucking
pick one or two of them things.
Right.
If that. They even
and you
catch the
busted
album.
your ass on that shit.
Yep.
Like you spent fucking a year on that album to get it played for a week and then pick two records that they're like, I like these.
Yeah, I'm going to throw them in the playlist and fuck them other songs.
And of course, everyone could pick a different song and that's more fulfilling when you see that like this person likes these two and this person likes a completely different two. And that's fulfilling, but like you're trying too hard to make them like a full body when they're not going to. You know what I mean? Like that's just not... Bro, and it's not just you. Drake puts out an album and people pick their favorite fucking
songs
five.
and put them shits in different playlists all over the fucking internet.
Biggest artist in the world. You know what I'm saying? And he puts out an album and people pick their favorite 5 or they pick their favorite 10 off the album. When he dropped Scorpion, I did that. I literally made a playlist. I made a shortened version of his album that I fuck with.
I like the songs I like is what I'm gonna like and put in that playlist.
Yeah, I put a little playlist together,
with,
shortened version, because I don't need to hear 20 records if I don't like all 20. But I like 10. You know what I'm saying? So let me put these 10 together in a little playlist, and then that'll be my Scorpion experience.
And that's honestly like just the best way to look at it. Not saying that you should specifically be making music to get onto playlists, but and also we did this like the first and the second episode. Do not pay for those fake playlist promotion companies. That's not what we're saying either. Basically, just understand that the consumers are just really taking singles and they're going into albums and treating them like singles and taking whatever songs they like and love, and they are placing those into playlists with a bunch of other artists. The genres are starting to break as well. Like they did it on Spotify. Majority of people who like hip hop like fucking rock. Genres are bending just because there's so much music out there. It's immersive. Everybody's under one umbrella and everybody can switch from one genre to the next without fucking thinking about it. People just love the music. Yes, you can get some fans that are die hard, but for the most part, everybody's just trying to listen to something good. And hopefully you're the person that's constantly giving them that good music.
That's it. I think that's a good ending point. Rappers Got Podcast for signing out. This is your host, Diggy Metro.
Bailz Pagliacci.
Peace out, guys.
1.